For the current counties, see Bihor County and Hajdú-Bihar County. For the Indian state, see Bihar. Bihar was an administrative county of the Kingdom of Hungary and a county of Partium. Its territory is now mostly in northwestern Romania, where it is administered as Bihor County, and a smaller part in eastern Hungary. The capital of the county was Nagyvarad. Geography. Bihar County was situated along the upper courses of the rivers Koros, Koros, Feketi Koros and Beradio. The medieval county also included Kalotizjak region. The total territory of the medieval county was around 10,000 square kilometers. After 1876, Bihar County shared borders with the Hungarian counties Be-K-S, Hajdú, Szabolcs, Szatmár, Szilágy, Kolos, Tordar, Aranyos and Arad. The western half of the county was in the Pannonian Plain, while the eastern half was part of the Apennine Mountains. Its area was 10,657 square kilometers around 1910. History. Origins. The castle of Bihor, or Bihar, was the center of the Duchy of Menumirat at the time of the Hungarian conquest of the Carpathian Basin in the 890s. According to the Gesta Hungarorum, the Gesta, the only primary source which mentions Menumirat, describes him as a ruler with Bulgarian heart, who was the vassal of the Byzantine emperor. Menumirat's subjects were Khazars, and the Sekyers joined the invading Hungarians in his duchy. Historian Tudor Salagian writes that other peoples must have also lived in Menumirat's realm. Menumirat was forced to give his daughter in marriage to Zoltan, son of Arpad, Grand Prince of the Hungarians. When he died, his son-in-law inherited his duchy. Modern scholars debate whether Menumirat and his duchy actually existed, or the anonymous author of the Gesta invented them. For instance, historian Georgi Gorfi says that Menumirat's name preserved the memory of the Moravians who dominated parts of the Carpathian Basin in the 9th century. Menumirat's Khazars could have been Kabars who settled in the region after the Hungarian conquest, according to a scholarly theory. Place names of Slavic origin, for instance, Zomlin, Csatar and Salax, show that Slav communities lived along the rivers and Beradio and around Bihar. Graves of 10th-century warriors, buried together with parts of the horses, have been excavated, for instance, at Bihar, Hajdú-Bihar, and Nagysalanta. According to archaeologist Thomas Nagler, the small number of graves which can be attributed to 10th-century Hungarian warriors shows that few Hungarians settled in the region after the Hungarian conquest. Archaeologist Erwin Gall writes that the cemetery at Bihar may represent a peripheral center of a core region which was located along the upper courses of the river Tisza, because the burial customs were similar in the two territories. Almost a dozen medieval villages, for instance, Felke, Koroszkiziano and Korostargin, bore the name of a Hungarian tribe, suggesting that Hungarian groups settled in the region in the late 10th and early 11th centuries. According to Georgi Gorfi, written sources and toponyms implies the presence of Sekyers. The castle folk of Ibi, a village located near Nagysalanta, which was later abandoned, were grouped into 800 or centurionatus, named Seculisses around 1217. The seat of Teligidi was most probably named after the village Teligidi. If this scholarly theory is valid, the ancestors of the Sekyers of Teligidi had lived in Bihar County before they moved to eastern Transylvania. Historian Florin Goethe writes that the Sekyers settled in the county only in the early 13th century. Modern historians agree that the county was established between 1020 and 1050, most probably by Stephen I, the first king of Hungary, or possibly by his successor, Peter, according to a version of a royal charter issued in 1203, mentioned that the whole Bihar County was located partly around Bihar and partly around Zarand. suggesting that Bihar County had originally included Zarand County, or at least its territories north of the river Fierecoros. Another version of the same charter also mentioned Bihar besides Bihar and Zarand, implying that Bihar County had also included the lands which developed into the separate Bihar County. Middle Ages. The 11th century Bihar Castle, made of earth and timber, was the first center of the county. The earliest royal charter that mentioned the Ispan, or head, of the county was issued around 1067. The county was included in the ducatus, or duchy, that Andrew I of Hungary granted to his younger brother, Beh around 1050. Beh-La's son, Ge-Za, ruled the duchy from 1064. Nomadic Turks, Pechenegs or Uzes, plundered the eastern territories of the Kingdom of Hungary, including the region around Bihar Castle in 1068. Duke Ge-Za, his brother Ladislaus, and the cousin, King Solomon of Hungary, joined the forces and chased the marauders as far as Doboka. 6 years later, the troops from Bihor were under the command of Duke Ladislaus in the Battle of Mogurad, which ended with the decisive victory of Ge-Za and Ladislaus over King Solomon. The first document that mentioned the county was issued in 1075. According to Georgi Georgi, the county seems to have originally been included in the Roman Catholic Diocese of Aga, because the Deanery of Somboli, located to the south of Bihar County, formed an exclave of the Aga bishopric during the Middle Ages. The separate Roman Catholic Diocese of Bihar was set up between 1020 and 1061. Its see was transferred to Varad before 1095. There were 4 deaneries in the county. The Deanery of Bihar was the first to have been documented. Pilgrims frequented the shrine of King Street Ladislaus in the Varad Cathedral after his canonization in 1192, and trials by ordeal were also held there. Emeric, King of Hungary, approached Pope Innocent III, asking him to make Latins abbot of the Greek monasteries in the Kingdom of Hungary to restore discipline. In a letter written on 16 May 1204, the Pope ordered the Catholic Bishop of Varad to visit the Greek monasteries and to set up a separate diocese, directly subjected to the Holy See, for them. According to historian Johann Aurel Pop, those Greek monasteries actually belonged to the local Orthodox Romanians. Pop also writes that the Orthodox bishopric in the country of Knez mentioned in a letter that Pope Innocent wrote to the Archbishop of Kaloxe in 1205, was located north of Aradia. At least 19 villages, including Koraskiziano, Mezogian and Metzozas in Bihar County, and Gayulivasand and Vadash in Zarand County, made up the honor of Bihar Castle in the early 13th century. The Varad Register, a codex which preserved the minutes of hundreds of ordeals held at the Varad chapter between 1208 and 1235, provides information of the life of the commoners in the honor. The castle folk, who were divided in hundreds, provided well-specified services to the Ispan. The register mentioned the gatekeepers and the hunters of Bihar Castle. The register also referred to guest settlers of foreign Rus, German or Latin origin. For instance, Walloon guests established Olassi near Varad before 1215. The kings started to give away parcels of the royal domain already in the 11th century. Prelates and ecclesiastic institutions, including the bishops of Varad, the Domos chapter and the Garam Shon Benedict Abbey, were the first beneficiaries. According to Georgi Georgi, the noble Arkosh, Borso, Gartkald and Hont Pasmani clans received the first estates in the county in the 11th century, the Georges, the Telegdish and most other lords only in the late 13th century. The western and southwestern lowlands were distributed among dozens of noble families, each holding only one village. The Mongols captured and destroyed Varad during their invasion of Hungary in 1241, according to Roger of Tourmaggiore, who was archdeacon of the Varad chapter at the time. At least 18% of the nearly 170 settlements documented in the county before 1241 disappeared during the Mongol invasion. Stephen V of Hungary exempted the peasants living in the estates of the Bishop of Varad of royal taxation and granted the bishop the right to open mines in his estates in 1263 to promote the economic recovery of the bishopric. A silver mine was in short opened at the bishop's domains at Belenes. New fortresses were built during the decades following the withdrawal of the Mongols. Judge Royal Paul Geragi erected Soliomko Castle at Tlsd. His sons held further two newly built fortresses in the 1270s. The power was crushed during King Ladislaus the Cuman's reign. He granted the fortresses and domains to the Borsas. James Borsa, one of the semi-independent oligarchs, was the actual ruler of Bihar, Krasna, Zabolsk, Satmar and Zolnok counties in the early 14th century. After James Borsa's fall in the late 1310s, the noble Chabak, Debreceni and Telegdi families became the wealthiest lay landowners in the county. The center of the Debrecenas' ancestral estates, Debrecen, developed into a market town, one of the earliest references to the presence of Romanians in the county. The place name Olataluk was recorded in a non-authentic charter, dated to 1283. The first authentic document mentioning Romanians was issued in 1293. They lived in the region of the bishop's castle at Varusfines. Next, a charter of 1326 referred to the Romanian voivode Negel who settled and lived in Nicholas Telegdi's estate at Captalan Hardas. Historian Ioan Oralpop writes that the latter charter proves that Nicholas Telegdi's estate had originally owned by voivode Negel. Modern times it was ruled by Ottoman Empire as Varatayali between 1660 to 1692. In 1876 the Kingdom of Hungary was divided into 7 circles. With a total of 64 counties, the circle on the left bank of the Theiss contained 8 counties, including Bihar Megi, with the other 7 being Be Acute K Acute S, Hajdú, Maramuros, Zabolsk, Satmar, Silesia and Ugoksa. Bihar County in the Austro-Hungarian Empire contained Debrecen and Nagyvarad. In 1918-19, about 75% of the county became part of Romania. The west of the county remained in Hungary. The capital of this smaller county Bihar was Hajdú-Bihar. After World War II, the Hungarian county Bihar was merged with Hajdú County to form Hajdú-Bihar County. The southernmost part of Hungarian Bihar went to Be Acute K Acute S County. The Romanian part of former Bihar County now forms the Romanian Bihor County, except the southernmost part, which is in Arad County. This part was occupied by Hungary between 1940 to 1944 during World War II. List of Ispans. 11th and 12th centuries, 13th century, 14th century demographics. In 1900, the county had a population of 577,312 people and was composed of the following linguistic communities. Total: Hungarian 324,970, Romanian 239,449, Slovak 7,152, German 3,620, Croatian 137, Ruthenian 95, Serbian 29, other or unknown 1,860. According to the census of 1900, the county was composed of the following religious communities. Total: Calvinist 230,102, Eastern Orthodox 205,474, Roman Catholic 56,585, Greek Catholic 52,222, Jewish 29,170, Lutheran 2,408, Unitarian 140, other or unknown 1,211. 1910. In 1910, the county had a population of 646,301 people and was composed of the following linguistic communities. Total: Hungarian 365,642, Romanian 265,098, Slovak 8,457, German 3,599, Ruthenian 211, Croatian 156, Serbian 122, other or unknown 3,016. According to the census of 1910, the county was composed of the following religious communities. Total: Calvinist 249,613, Eastern Orthodox 233,159, Roman Catholic 68,019, Greek Catholic 57,488, Jewish 32,462, Lutheran 3,307, Unitarian 299, other or unknown 1,954. Districts. In the early 20th century, the districts and the capitals were the towns of Direcski, Beretufelu, Bihar-Bihar and Bihar are now in Hungary, while the other towns mentioned are in Romania.